Alright, so I'm starting the new panel. Well, I took the old one out and this is what it looks like. So you can see this thing is pretty beat up. So I'm just going to use this as a template, sort of. Most of it is here. Uh, these things are gone. So what I'm going to do, instead of making tabs like this, I'm just going to cut it further up and then I'll just make the holes down and it'll be stronger that way. It's missing a piece here. That's not too bad, so I can figure it out. I was gonna get the other one and use the passenger side, but this one's already torn up and I still gotta do both anyway, so I'm just gonna use this one and then I can just kind of go around here so you can kind of tell what it is anyways. And I thought that was gonna be a bigger chunk, but it looks like it's gonna be okay just to get an overall template. So I bought the other pieces that I'll show you in a second, but right now let me show you. See, this thing is basically barely hanging on. So these things are gone. These are screws. That was supposed to be there. The tweeter. So all this has to get fixed. Basically, just taking the switches out that I had on here. I did line it up. Didn't look quite lined up, but I guess it's because it's old. So I want to make sure these are lined up here because I gotta make those two holes. And what else? So it's just hanging by this one. So once I take that off, I'm just gonna peel these off and then just do the template. So this is what the piece looks like. As you can see, it's got a little corrugated side. The other side is nice and smooth, which is exactly like what I bought at Home Depot. This is smooth. This were like $6, so it's not a lot. But I bought these big ones, so I'm just gonna use that. And then just use the bottom there for the side. And we got a new one. But my plan is to, you see how this is all bent all over the place? I want to put a layer of fiberglass on this side. One, to stiffen it, and two, to make sure it's waterproof so it doesn't happen again, or at least it doesn't do this again with the water, since the seals are still not that great. So that's the plan, and then obviously make all these holes. But I have two sheets, and right now this is basically the easy part, just taking everything off because it's already fallen off. This is like pretty flimsy too, so I need to reinforce this, take all this metal piece out. I did notice on this one there's a little metal bracket on the bottom, but I won't be putting that because you can see all that corrosion there. So I think the fiberglass is going to be okay. And then just fiberglass this, and well, it's going to be a process, but right now this is the main thing, just to get new panels. So that should be pretty straightforward. I just got to put it on that and make a template. Alright, I got my template done. So you can see I got everything sketched that on here, all the holes. And if you look over here, there's an opening right there. I'm just gonna leave it all solid over here. I see that's where the openings are, right here. So I'm just gonna leave it solid in order to have more support, because if not, they're just gonna break like that. So I'm not even gonna cut it here. I'm just gonna go around the edge here. There, boom, and then up to here. So once I cut this down, I can use this one for the next one on the other one there, and I'll have my new panels, or at least this part. So I finally did my first pattern. As you can see, here's the old one. I use those small clamps on the side, and I'm getting ready to cut the second one. It's not hard, just takes time cutting the holes and those other little ones, but so far it's pretty straightforward. One thing I did find out is that you want to drill, you want to drill from this side, the rough side, to the other side, because if you go from the other side to this side, it tends to pull the cardboard quite a bit. Alright, since I have to charge the battery before I finish cutting the other template because I ran out of battery and I only have one, I decided to start pulling this off because obviously we need to reinforce this. So you can see this is actually holding that together because it's broken quite on a few places. So what I plan to do is reinforce it with fiberglass so that everything will be back to one piece. Now the seal here, it's old, but as you can see, they're just tabs you bend back and then it will just pop right out of those holes right there. So I have the other one there still because it's broken like right around here, I think, somewhere around here. It's got little cracks. I mean, it's all plastic, but nothing that fiberglass won't be able to fix. And this hole, I need to move it down a little bit because it's too far up. So I'll cover that with fiberglass and then I'll have to redo another hole. Just about I don't know, half an inch lower, I think. The reason for that is because you can see it's too high here. So it needs to go down a little bit for the tweeter that I put in, and this is pretty much the other side. But it is all plastic, so my plan is definitely to fiberglass this again. Of course, it has to get cleaned off, and then I'll do that. But well, one thing at a time, I guess. The only thing is the staples here. I gotta take those off because it wasn't glue there. Everything else is glue, and it actually has held up pretty well so far. So that's where I'm at. I'm almost done cutting the second template and I made some holes. And the other thing on this, I think I'm going to get rid of this plastic pieces where the screws went, and I'm going to fiberglass some rib nuts. Normally you have to put them in the hole and then crimp them, I guess. Not crimp them, but just pull them that way. But since these are pretty long, I think those are going to work better. And having a metal piece here for the screws, it's probably going to be better in the long run anyways. Not that it's something that's going to be taken off often, but that's the whole plan. I want to make sure that if it has to come off again, it comes off as one piece and it doesn't break. So I may end up just using the Dremel, cutting that off and just gluing the rib nuts, and then on top of that or just around it I'll put the fiberglass just to reinforce it. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, I just sort of cleaned as much as I could. A lot of this tape is stuck in here, but wire brush takes it off pretty nicely. And as you can see, it's broken in quite a few areas here. So I'm going to need to get some, what do you call it, glue on that, and fiberglass, I mean. So I just left this here because this is stuck and this is what's holding it all together. So before I completely take it off, I'm going to go ahead and reinforce it with fiberglass. So you can see it's clean here now. All this glue was on here. See, it's broken there. So I need to fiberglass all of that to reinforce it again. But so far it's still in one piece. So it's like the never-ending story, but it'll get done. So while I'm redoing my door panels, I decided to see if I could add some metal mesh to the tweeters. This tweeters only had two pieces of plastic. Somebody put a finger through it, so I put this mesh over it years ago. I think I have a video on how I did that. It just sticks. It's just one of those meshes that you can find at the hardware store. And then I stuck it around. It's been okay, but I found these on Amazon. These are 2-inch uh, diameter meshes. This is what it looks like. Right now it's kind of bad because I put it over it and I was cutting it or trying to see if I can get that on there. So I want to see if I can put that on here so that it looks a little better. Not only that, but I just want to protect it with the metal mesh. So we'll see what happens. I was about to do the fiberglass, but I ran out of hardener. I think I still have some of the resin, so I'll check it. But that's the plan. I'm just gonna fiberglass this because, as you saw, it's broken a couple areas. So we're gonna reinforce it that way. But I need to go get some more hardener. Okay, I did forget to mention that if you put this dry, you can actually form it to your shape and just leave it at that and just come back with the resin. Unfortunately, I left the hardener on top. It leaked and it hardened that. Just a little tiny bottle, so don't do that. Now I gotta get some more resin as well. Just a quick video on the Miata panels. I got those done. We just came from Joann's. I got this foam that they have on there, so this is going to go on the bottom, and this thinner one is going to go on the plastic molding here because it did have a more something similar to this. I want to say maybe a little thicker, so that's why you had a little more cushion on here. And this was just regular foam, but this one it's a little bit more, so it's like sandwich in between two layers. These are more solid, which is nice, so I'm going to cut those to size and glue that to that, and then I'll glue that to that to kind of give it that, depending on how one layer feels. I may do 2 layers just to make it more comfortable. They do have a black one, but I didn't want the black one. I set it on the blue one just because I wanted to make sure it doesn't heat up too much. The black just absorbs a lot of heat, so I went with this one since it's going to be covered with vinyl on the top anyways. So that's the reason I chose the blue one, but you can choose black if you want. And this one I do have the black vinyl that's going to go on top of that as well. So that's the update on the Miata panel.